Hi, I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. And today, it's way too nice outside to be indoors. Let's go outside. Okay, that's lots better now that we're outside. Although, I probably should have brought a change of clothes today so I don't have to wear this full suit in the hot sun, but that's okay. So today, we're gonna take a look at a very important feature, and we'll do a general overview as well. The feature is on the RX 500h. Does the four-wheel steering actually do anything? And it's a question I got asked the other day when I was talking, the difference between an RX 350, F-Sport 3, let's say, versus an RX 500h. And I said the RX 500h has four-wheel steering. And the guest said, well, why do I care about that? And I kind of thought like, oh, I don't know for sure. But let's check that out later in the video. First, how do you tell the difference between a 500h and a 350? Well, on the outside, there's not a whole lot of differences, but there are a few little small details to consider. Both grills look relatively the same. Now on the 500h, this one is the F Performance 2 package, you'll notice there's a little bit more blacked out coloring or painted coloring instead of like the matte black sort of plastics that we see on some of just, the regular sport models. Another big thing is the wheel. And the wheel on the 500, I think is absolutely gorgeous. It's sort of like a matte, sort of blacked out look, and the brake calipers is black as well, where on the regular sport wheels, it's more of like a painted metallic. It doesn't have any of that matte color to it, which I really like on the Performance. Another thing is the emblem is different. So the F Performance has, a little bit different of an F. There's more of a black background to it. And even where it says sport is all blacked out instead of, in white lettering. And I don't know, the F to me just seems a little sharper, like it's a little more aggressive. And I really like that. It's kind of, it's kind of nice versus the 350. Yeah. Also, at the back of the vehicle, there is a big difference as well. Other than the fact that it actually says RX 500h and Direct 4, also the 500 has more painted rear bumper, where the 350 and all the other packages with the 350 have sort of that matte black gray instead of actually painted body color, which I like the painted body color myself. Okay, so now that you've seen a few of the differences between the 500 and the 350h, minus the powertrain, I guess, let's actually test in this parking lot right now to see if the 500h, the four-wheel steering, actually works, or if it's just something on a brochure that people want because it's an extra feature. Let's check it out. Okay, so let's start with the RX 500. This is the one with the four-wheel steering, don't forget. So let's see how the turning radius goes. Okay, yeah, super tight turning radius. It's really good. You can feel how tight this turning is. I don't know how often you would use this in a real world setting, but it does seem to do a really good job. I should mention, it's kind of making me a little sick with all the turning, but that's probably a good thing. That means it's working, so. Okay, so now in the 350 F Sport, let's see how it does. Okay. It's still pretty tight. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I think the 500 still feels a little bit tighter, but we're gonna have to take a look at the footage afterward. They're both good. The 500 might be better. We're gonna see, we're gonna find out. Okay, so the 500h was definitely the clear winner for being able to do a sharp turn in a parking lot, which it even felt better and tighter. And then when taking a look at the footage, it was definitely a win. But let's see if it's a big enough difference on the street. The handling, the power, the smoothness. Let's see if there's a big enough difference between the two to make it worth the big price tag of the 500h. Okay, so now that we saw how these vehicles performed in a parking lot, let's check them out on the actual street. So right now we're in the 500-ish F Performance 2. And let's see how it does in the city. Already, it's very noticeable how smooth this powertrain is. It is a hybrid powertrain, don't forget. And it's a 6-speed transmission with a 2.4 liter V6, or sorry, a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, not a V6, and mated with the hybrid powertrain and a turbocharger. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. The real test is going to be on the highway, or getting on the highway. But already, one of the things I love about any RX, any of the new RXs, is a few things, but one of them is the proactive driving assist. So even as I came up to traffic right there, I could feel the car starting to brake, and it actually tells me on my screen that it's starting to brake, which is really nice. I think that's a really cool step towards autonomous driving. And yeah, I just love it, that's all. If you were to just let someone drive this and you didn't tell them about that proactive driving assist, you might freak them out because they're gonna think that the car is trying to kill them or stop or whatever. But really, it's just an extra safety bubble, which I've always thought was really great. So, you know, definitely use it. Keep that feature on, it's cool. Okay, let's get on the highway here and see what this puppy can do. Here we go. Oh yeah. So right away, that powertrain absolutely rips. Up to 100 from 40. I had to slow down because of the car in front of me. But it definitely gets you there. It's cool because you can feel the hybrid at the low end get you that instant torque, and then that turbocharger kicks in and just continues the power. Instead of usually a hybrid sort of tapers off as you rev it, but this, it's the best of both worlds. And the fact that it's a 6-speed, it's geared nicely because of that, which I really like. And I think for spirited driving, I'm just gonna use the paddles right now to see how they feel. For spirited driving, you know, being able to hold those gears a little bit longer and not have 1,000 shift changes. And it's definitely not favoring for fuel economy, we should say that. But overall, it works well. I like it, I like the 500. Okay, coming up through an intersection, I can feel the gas motor did kick off. So right now we're mostly EV mode, which is nice. Nice and smooth through the city. We don't really need the gas right now. But if I just punch it a little bit, kicks back on, pretty flawless. The handling on this car is awesome. I love it. Let's try a different mode out. Let's go. So what we have to do is hit the center, and we'll just put it in sport real quick. Immediately you could feel the throttle response gets a lot tighter, or sorry, a lot quicker, and it does hold gears a little bit more. And when it's in the sport mode, it tightens up all the suspension quite a lot. I guess since it's adaptive, there's a lot of things going on right now. So the vehicle can sense that we're just kind of driving in a straight line and it's adjusting the suspension to that, I guess. Because when I was in sport mode doing corners, it felt a little bit stiffer. So it really did feel like it was favoring, you know, the handling over the smoothness of the ride. But right now in sport, like we're on a bumpy road, it feels fine. You could probably drive in sport all the time if you wanted to. And then that way you have, you know, the handling and no body roll when you want it, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna hop into the RX 350 and just see the difference there. Check that one out. Okay, so now we're in the 350 F Sport, and we're gonna see the difference. Already feeling a little bit more of that engine because it's not a hybrid. Also, I should mention, even though I work at a dealership, I don't drive the 350 and 500 back to back like this very often, so it's kind of nice for me. I've been driving an NX for a while now, and you know, every time I get into an RX, I'm like, I forgot how much I love this car. Again, we feel that proactive driving assist kick in, I love that. And we're just in normal mode. We're gonna get onto the highway in a second. I don't know what it is. I think in the 350, I feel more of the road. I don't mean bumps. I mean like the little cracks and stuff like that. I think it's the tires. I think the tires on the 500 are softer, which means maybe they would go through them quicker, but it is smoother as well. I think they're grippier too on the 500. Okay, we're at 40K. We're gonna give it. So it takes a second to downshift, and definitely the power is higher in the revs. Another slow car in front of me, so we're just gonna go around him, but it's still okay. It's not nearly the 500. Like, you would never You would never feel like you needed more in terms of like merging and stuff. But if you like faster cars, the 500 was a lot better than this for sure. The sound-wise isn't too bad. You actually don't hear the motor until it's more revved up on the RX. So for even being a 4-cylinder, it is a little higher pitch, and there is so much insulation on this vehicle that you can't really hear it until it's revving up. And actually on the 500, you barely heard it at all. It was really, really quiet with that. Now again, this one has more gears, so we feel it shifting a little bit more to try and get us better fuel economy. Just gonna put it in sport, feel the handling a little more. Tightens things right up. Even in sport, in the city, the way it's geared, when you have to step on the gas in the city, it does take a sec. I'll give you that. It doesn't do it right away. It downshifts, and it needs to downshift. But then when it does it, you'll feel it kick in and it'll lurch you forward. Not like the 500 at all, but still plenty for what it is. Overall, still a quiet ride, still super smooth. I would still try both out if you're looking at these cars. If you have the luxury of test driving both, it is nice to do back-to-back like this, because overall there's so many similarities and only a few differences. So to try and justify the extra money for the 500 by using just a brochure is hard to do, especially if you don't care about some of those things that make it different. So definitely try it out. And let me know if you guys want more driving videos like this, where it is like more real world instead of, just talking in a showroom about the cars. You actually showing them drive. While we sit here, we're at a stoplight now. The radar cruise control works really well too, and you can use it in slower speeds and in the city, and it'll keep that safe distance with the proactive driving assist as well. Same with the lane departure. Also, this package and all the sport packages have the heads-up display with the customizable buttons on the steering wheel. And I use those all the time now that I'm used to them. It took me a while to set them up. Now I'm used to them, I use it all the time for so many different features, so I don't have to look down very often. I just do it right on the steering wheel and the heads-up display. And it also shows you on the center dash as well, which both center little TFT displays here are pretty much the same on the RX 500 and the 350. But that wraps things up for the RX 350. Okay, so there you have it. In my opinion, the 500H is definitely the one to buy if you can, cough up the money for that bigger price tag. However, the 350 F Sport package in the gas model still checks a lot of the boxes. It still has good handling. It still has a good powertrain. It's still fun to drive with some nice creature comforts as well. So, let me know in the comments which one you would choose. Like I said, I think the 500 is definitely worth the price tag. Thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. And remember, we are a real dealership and part of the Performance Auto Group. And in the comments, let me know if there's any other videos you'd like to see. All right, guys, thanks for watching.